Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday morning yoga. And this morning we are going to start with a gentle limber on the floor and work our way up to some lovely standing posture work. I've got 2 blocks to hand. You don't have to use them, but you might feel like they would be useful to have close by. Particularly when we're doing some of the work that is sideways onto the mat, it can be useful to have one for forward bends and the like. So 2 blocks close to hand, and we are going to start ourselves lying down on our backs, just to have a nice center and start the day the right way. So coming into constructive rest, just lying on your back with your feet on the floor, knees bent, and giving yourself an opportunity to land here, to feel that your body can release down into the mat and the back of the head, the shoulders and hands, the whole of the expanse of the back and the back of the pelvis and the soles of the feet. And then here, just mentally step away from everything that has happened around you in this week so far, in this day so far. And step into your yoga time and space. As you do that, perhaps you can automatically feel a softening of the tension across your forehead, your jaw, your shoulders. Allow yourself some soft, slow breaths. Make note of anything that feels really focal in the body. So any areas of the body that feel making themselves known, perhaps feeling stiff or tense or sore. And taking note of that, working with compassion throughout your practice. Notice at least one part of your body that feels peaceful, quiet, and at ease. Observe your state of mind and your emotions. Perhaps there's something at the fore, something making itself known. And again, just working kindly throughout the practice in regard to your state of mind and emotions. When you're ready, you can begin some deeper breaths. As you breathe in, let the breath fill the sides of the body, the back and the chest. As you breathe out, a long, slow breath, perhaps gently engaging the muscles across the belly to draw the navel in and breathe out completely. Soften the belly, breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing out long and slow and deep, engaging to exhale fully. Soften the belly to breathe in. Let the breath fill your body. Breathing out long and slow and deep. Continuing in this way for a few more breaths. Charging the body with prana. Getting rid of some of the stale air that's been hanging around in the lungs when we breathe in a more shallow way. And on this last exhalation, sighing out through your mouth. Very good. Let your breath find its natural rhythm and maybe just roll your head from one side to the other. Gentle movement, easing tension from the neck and the shoulders, letting the head remain really heavy. And then we're going to come back to center and lengthen the legs so that the legs are straight on the floor, the heels are down. And we're going to bring the legs quite close together for a gentle stretch. So breathing in, press through your heels, reach your arms up over your head. And as you breathe out, just relax your legs and bring your arms back down by your side. We'll do that once more. Breathing in, press through the heels, lengthen the arms up over the head, maybe press the low back down to the mat at the same time. And as you breathe out, relax the legs and relax the arms down to your side. Take the feet slightly further apart and just make some ankle circles. If you soften your knees and pivot on your heels, then the knees will sort of wave in and out a little bit as well, if that feels good, going in the opposite direction as well. That just sort of eases out this front of the pelvis area. And then we're going to gather the knees one at a time, drawing them into the chest. 1 and 2, and give ourselves a little rock around on the back of the body. And whilst you guys are doing that, I'm just going to let a late arrival into the class. Here we are. And we're going to roll our knees in the opposite direction as well. Welcome, Morag. Please make sure that you're on mute. And join us on your mat when you're ready. Then we're going to keep the toes together and take the knees apart and just roll the knees together and apart. So rolling in opposite directions now. And we'll go the opposite way as well, keeping the toes towards each other, knees rolling in the opposite direction, just massaging the thigh bone, the head of the femurs into the hips. There we are. And then we're going to take the feet down to the floor one at a time. And the feet can be relatively wide here, so we don't need to adhere to any specific alignment, just wherever they fall. Try not to have them too far turned out. They can be turned out a little bit, but not too far. And we're going to take the elbows down by the side of the body and press the low back and the back of the shoulders and the back of the head into the floor, and then pressing into the heels, just gently lifting your hips up. They don't need to come up very high, and then gently releasing down. So we're going to keep that effort with the upper body like a leverage to help gently ease the hips up and down. And as we do that, we're engaging through the belly muscles, engaging particularly through the buttocks. And this time we're going to come up just a little bit higher. And then every time, if you can, just coming up a little bit higher. Try not to turn your head when you're in bridge pose, just keeping your head centered. It's okay to do it if it feels good to you, but usually it's not a great position to begin turning the head in. As we come up this time, hopefully you're coming towards your best bridge yet. And while the hips are up, we're going to hula hoop the hips a couple of times, maybe 3 times in each direction, using still the leverage of the back of the arms and shoulders and elbows, heels into the floor. When you're ready, you can hit your high bridge again and then slowly roll all the way down. And when we come down, this time we're going to lengthen the legs again with the feet nice and wide, and just wave the feet from side to side, ease off any effort. Maybe circle the ankles a couple of times if it feels good to do so. And then when you're ready, you can bring your feet in again, taking them again nice and wide. Arms can relax away from the body with the palms turned upwards, firm in the belly, and ease the knees from one side to the other. So a little twisting here, but as we twist, want to control it with these belly muscles. So we're really active in our belly muscles, where we relax here in the upper body. So this bit different in the effort that we made in bridge pose. As you begin to work into this movement, perhaps your knees go a little bit further, perhaps they don't, it's okay. Whatever naturally happens in your body at this stage of the practice, we want to be finding spaces the body's comfortable in. So not finding spaces where the body feels uncomfortable or sore or exacerbating any discomfort. When you're ready, you can bring your knees back to the center, gather them back in towards you one at a time, perhaps, or both together if you like. We're going to take the knees nice and wide, and this time we're going to leave the arms down and the upper body nice and relaxed. We're going to make circles with the knees, but one knee and then the other. So one knee and then the other, just circling. Here, the more you extend the leg that is straightening away from you as you circle your knees, the more challenging this is for the center, for the core to hold. So you can make your long leg go quite deep towards the floor if it feels good. You can keep it up towards the ceiling if that feels better. Wherever you are, make sure it feels like you are in control with that centered support. You can go in the opposite direction as well. Trying to keep that sense of softness through the upper body. And when you're ready, gathering the knees back towards you, making one final set of circling with the knees in, just easing out any effort in the back of the body. We're going to take our head towards our knees and then just gently rocking backwards and forwards through the length of the spine. If that doesn't suit you, just turn to one side and come up into sitting. But if you can, rock from sit bones to shoulder blades, massaging through the length of the back. And perhaps as you come up to an upright position, you can balance on your sit bones. And if you're up for it, we can do a few more of these, taking a slightly different position at the top of the movement. So as you come up, just finding a different shape for the body to be in. She says, woo! And then when you're ready, just coming into a comfortable seated position. It doesn't need to be any particular position. My hair's all over the place. So this is a great opportunity to fix up any bits of clothing that have gone astray or fix up hair if it needs it. And as you come to sitting, just taking a moment in stillness, lifting through the back of the body, softening. The eyelids can close if they want to, or just gazing gently downwards. Finding that slow, deep breath, or observing the effect of your practice if that has been to increase your breath rate significantly. When you're ready, you can gently blink your eyes open, and we are going to come all the way around onto our hands and knees. But before we do that, just preparing the wrists ever so slightly. So taking the fingertips of the right hand and just drawing them back towards you as you lengthen into your right forearm. And we want here to have a nice softness through the shoulders, and gently perhaps pulse that elbow a little straighter, a little more bent. So it just eases into that sense of strength, a stretch. And then we'll do the same thing coming through, hands together at the center of the chest. Same thing to the other side. Just gently pulsing through that elbow, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And then when you're ready, you can bring your palms together at the center of the chest, interlace the fingers, and keeping the forearms towards each other, just making some figure of eights with your wrists. And the opposite way as well. And then as we sit tall, we can take the arms down to our sides, and then with long fingers and hands, make wrist circles, and draw the arms up over the head as well at the same time. And at the top of the movement, just circling the wrists the opposite way and releasing the arms down to your side. We're going to do those same wrist circles, but with the thumbs in and fingers wrapped around to make a little fist. So wrist circles, taking the arms around the body and up. And then wrist circles the opposite way around the body and down. Excellent stuff. I can see everyone doing it on screen. Lovely to see you all. Just shaking out the hands. And as we sit, we can do a gentle movements of the neck as well. So really lengthening through the back of the body. We'll start with gentle turning from one side to the other. Back to the center, turning to look over the left shoulder. And returning to center. Let's do one more to each side. Notice where you've got tension or stiffness. Try not to force through it, just observe. Back to the center, sitting really tall, right ear to right shoulder, soft shoulders, and then back to center, left ear to left shoulder. Return to center, right ear to right shoulder. Return to center, left ear to left shoulder. Very nice. Return to center, chin to chest. And here we don't force the chin down, but we hold just for a moment longer, making sure that we're softening in the shoulders, a little gentle smile. And as you come up, take your bottom teeth over your top teeth, and then lift your chin up towards the ceiling. Again, just holding briefly. And then gently releasing back to center, release the jaw, chin to chest again. Teeth are separated, a gentle smile. And then one more time, coming up to an upright position, bottom teeth over top teeth, lifting the chin. And then returning to center, just opening the mouth and wiggling your bottom jaw from side to side, gently. Very nice. Wriggle in the shoulders. And we're going to come onto our hands and knees now. So it doesn't matter how you get there. We're on the hands and knees, using something underneath the knees for cushioning if you would like to. Here we're spreading out our fingers and remembering our hasta bandhas, hand locks, that help us to distribute the weight across the hand, so the effort is distributed across both the wrist and the rest of the arm, the elbow, the shoulder, etc. So we're not feeling it just in the wrist. Here we're going to begin with just holding this hands and knees position, but creating space underneath the body. And we do that by gently lifting in the belly muscles, activating the pelvic floor, and actively pressing the feet down into the mat as well. So we create a lovely space across the front of the body too. And then from here, we're going to roll the shoulders so the elbows can soften. And imagine that you're rolling your shoulders just as you would do upright, but with the hands on the floor. So it's the back that has to move to make the shoulders move around. If you find this really toughy, come back into a kneeling position and roll your shoulders in your kneeling position. But if you can get used to doing it here on the floor, it's a really lovely thing to do for your back, upper back. Going in the opposite direction when you're ready. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center and we'll do a little cat-cow. So firming the belly, pressing the feet down, and just gently opening the front of the body as you look forward. The shoulders glide, the shoulder blades glide down to open the chest. And then rounding through the spine, scooping the belly in, chin to chest, shoulders and hips perhaps a little closer together. You can inhale as you come forward, remembering your hasta bandhas, pressing into your fingertips, and exhale as you round under, scooping the belly in. Inhaling forward. And exhaling, rounding under. Let's do one more like this. Inhaling forward. And exhaling, rounding under. We're going to take the weight off the wrists and come up into an upright kneeling position, just to give them a little shake out. If you like to, back to the hands together and just rolling. which is one that we do quite often in class, a lovely thing to do, and the opposite way as well. And then as we come back down onto our hands and knees, this time we're going to do our sassy cats. So again, fingers spreading, knees supporting hips. We're going to take the right side of the body to the right so that the left shoulder and hip come towards each other, maybe even look to the left. And then the other side, left side of the body to the left, right shoulder and hip coming towards each other, looking to the right. And we'll just swing from side to side a couple of times. The shoulders are moving quite a lot here as well. And then we're going to put all 4 directions of the cat that we've done back to front and side to side in together. So the left side is extended. We're going to bring the back up towards the ceiling. We're going to extend to the right with the right side and then let the front of the body come down towards the mat as we look up. So we're now swinging the rope that is our spine as if we were skipping it, swinging between the pelvis and the shoulders. Barrel cats, sometimes they're called, because you are rolling in a barrel roll. And then when you're ready, you can go the opposite way, just making sure that your head moves naturally so that your neck is still behaving as an extension of your spine. Again, the shoulders gliding around, a little soft through the elbows in parts, still pressing into the feet, still using the belly muscles, still using the fingertips. When you're ready, coming back to the center and then making any movement. So sassy cat allows the shoulders and the hips to move quite independently, the head to travel wherever it makes sense to do so. The body can move around the center as well, so you don't have to stay centered over your shoulders or your hips. Over your knees, you can move all the way around the mat and make use of the opportunity to just move into spaces that you haven't yet been able to release or touch with your movement. Whenever you're ready, we can take a little child's pose, taking the knees apart, toes towards each other, reaching the palms upwards as you reach the hands forwards, and taking the forehead towards the mat if it's naturally making it to there. If not, folding the arms at the elbows and resting your head on your forearms. Taking a few deeper breaths here. And as you breathe deeply, notice how much more space you have to breathe into now that we've loosened off, particularly those muscles of the rib cage, the intercostal muscles, muscles that support the body, deeper muscles than we're used to focusing on because they're small, they provide loads of extra support. And we are just softening as we focus on that sensation in the body. When you're ready, you can bring yourself back to upright. And here, if possible, tucking the toes under and letting the hips come back to the heels. Now, if it's not comfortable, this is completely a practice that you should just leave to one side. If you're comfortable enough to hold briefly and then bring your hips up and then gently release back, you can do it in this more dynamic way, and you still get that sense of stretch along the feet, but we're just doing it in a slightly different way. We'll just do one more of these, or simply holding, shaking out the wrists as you need to, and then we're coming back to hands and knees. So here in our hands and knees, we're going to bring the knees towards each other and work with the right foot first. And here we're lifting the right heel as we look forwards and then rounding through the spine, drawing the knee into the chest and the heel towards the buttock and the nose towards the knee. So very active. And then this is tiger pose, lifting the right heel and rounding under. If you wish to, you can breathe in as you lift your right heel and look forward, and breathe out as you round under. We'll do 2 more. Breathing in, breathing out, scooping the belly in, heel to buttock, breathing in. I think this might be 3 more. Breathing out, never mind, it's all good. We're going to finish with the heel up, and then from this position, just making some knee circles. So we're really firm on the left side of the body, both hands pressing into the mat and away from each other, the belly nice and supportive. And then we can go the opposite way as well. Just rolling through that hip, making those hip circles, whatever feels good to you in this moment. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. And then we'd let that knee come to the mat and do the same thing on the other side. So in the center, just giving yourself a little wiggle, a little sassy cat movement. And then pressing into the floor with the right foot. Flex through the left heel and lift the heel up, glide the shoulders down, and then rounding through the spine, nose to knee, chin to chest, heel to buttock. Lifting the belly even as you lift the chest, and then scooping the belly in as you round through the spine. Just opening the front of the body, and then opening the back of the body. Let's do these with our breath. Inhaling, and exhaling as you round and scoop and lift. Inhaling, and exhaling. We'll do one more because I'm sure we did 6 on the other side. Inhaling, and exhaling. When you're ready, from a neutral position, just rolling your left knee, sorry. So you're rolling your left hip. And we're still keeping that firmness in the belly, still pressing the hands into the mat and away from each other. When you're ready, reversing that motion. And just making the movement whatever it is that your body needs. And then when you're ready, you can take your weight off your hands again. This time, if you can, sit your hips back to your heels. And just give your wrists another little shake out, maybe wriggling through the fingers, maybe rolling through the wrists themselves. And the opposite way as well. Very good. So we're going to do a little downward dog practice. So hopefully we'll take the pressure off the wrists a little bit. But before we get there, I'd like to do some, what are they called? Lunges. So I'm going to grab my blocks and place them at the front of my mat. So from our kneeling position, we can simply step the right foot forward and we come into this lunge position that's quite upright. So your blocks, you can use them if you wish to, but perhaps starting with the hands on the hips and just giving the hips a little rock backwards and forwards. So we're not trying to get anywhere in particular, we're feeling our way into our body, seeing what's going on today and where we've got opportunities for movement and space. Lovely job. If it feels good, once you've done a few of these, you can use your arms. You can reach your arms forward as your hips come forward. You can reach your arms back as your hips come back, and perhaps get that sense of length into the front of the back of the right leg. Reaching the hands forward, reaching the hands back. If that feels like too much, hands onto your blocks. That's what they're there for. Reaching the hands forward if you can. Reaching the hands back. And we'll do one more like this. And as our hips come back, just lifting the toes from the mat and giving the hips a little wiggle from side to side. And then coming back into our lunge position, we want to be, as I say, very much more upright than we normally are. These blocks are going to come either side of the hips, and we're going to use some of those limbering moves that we've done over the last few weeks. So we're going to breathe in as we take the arms up. Breathing out, drop the shoulders down. Catch hold of your left wrist. And as you breathe in, press into your left foot and ease over to your right side. A little bend to the right. Coming back to the center as you breathe in. Swap hands as you breathe out, bending over to the opposite side. Releasing back to the center. This time separating the hands. Taking a big deep breath in. If you can, reach your right hand down to your right block, close to your hips, and then reach the left arm over. Here, a little gentle tuck under of the tailbone is quite nice. And remember to also try to avoid leaning forward over to the side. Whenever you're ready, coming back to the center, same thing to the other side. Left hand down to left block, reaching the right arm up and over. Gentle tuck under of the tailbone, making sure you're bending to the side and not bending forwards. Coming back to the center, we're gently going to release the hands so that we can lengthen the back leg and step into downward facing dog. Little down dog in the center to do a wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Beginning walking the dog as it's our first down dog of the day, pressing the fingertips into the floor, chest towards thighs. Remember, your knees can be as bent as you'd like. It's about lengthening your tailbone towards the ceiling. Scooping the belly in. When you're ready, you can bring your knees down and come back to that upright kneeling position. So we can step the left foot forward and do the same thing again. So left foot comes forward. If you want your blocks to be at the front of your mat for the hip swinging, then you can. Hands on your hips if it feels good, and just gently easing the hips forwards and backwards. We're just easing movement here. So we haven't done this side yet. We're beginning to explore what feels good. And then if you'd like to, you can do this with your arms or with the help of the blocks, reaching the arms forward or reaching the hands to the blocks and reaching the hands backwards as the hips come back. Reaching hands forward as the hips come forward. Reaching hands back as the hips come back. And we need to use a little bit more effort through the belly muscles to help support this, and the legs need to be super strong, pressing the feet into the floor, providing that centered stability. This time, as your hips come back the way, just making sure you lift your toes away from the mat and wiggling your hips from side to side. You can use your hands down on the floor, of course, for a little support here. When you're ready, coming into your upright lunge, moving your blocks so that they're either side of your hips. And here we'll breathe in as we take the arms up, breathing out as we release the shoulders down. Catch hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Breathe in and lean over to your left side, nice and tucked under. Breathing out back to the center, swap hands. Breathing in over to your right side. Breathing in back to the center. We're just going to separate the arms, reach the left hand down, reaching the right arm up and over. So using the block for your support, just giving yourself an opportunity to hang out for just a touch longer, lifting in the belly, tucking under with the tailbone, and then coming back to the center. Same thing on the other side. Reaching the right hand down, reaching the left arm over, keeping the shoulder blades working towards each other, keeping that sideways bend, and back to center. And then here, we're going to take our hands down and step into downward facing dog. So lengthen the back leg, come back into your down dog. Just make any movements that feel good. Couple of deep breaths, maybe sighing out through the mouth. Very good. And then when you're ready, you can come all the way down to lie flat on your belly. And we do this just for a little bit of grounding. So making a pillow out of the hands, letting the forehead rest down, and finding the fronts of the thighs, the front of the hips, the belly, the chest, all finding heaviness into the mat. Relax your belly muscles. They don't need to be engaged here. We can give the hips a little wiggle from side to side if it feels good. If it feels better to turn your head to one side, if it feels more comfortable, then doing that. You don't have to have a pillow out of your hands. You can turn your head to one side and just have your ear to the floor, arms down by the side if you prefer it like this. Wherever you are, taking one more deep breath in and sighing out through the mouth. And then here we're going to come up onto our forearms. Now in Sphinx pose, which is this pose, if you have your forearms a little bit further forward, it's a little bit less bendy lower down in your back. But if you are practicing with good alignment and you're pressing your pubic bone down, you should always have a sense of space in the low back rather than a sense of crunch. So wherever you wish to be with your forearms and elbows is fine by me. So pressing the pubic bone down just a little, glide the shoulder blades down so that you can allow your head to move as an extension of the spine with the neck in a natural position. Usually I would say looking down towards the end of your mat or slightly ahead of it rather than upwards. That's probably not where your spine is naturally moving. And then bending your knees so that your feet are facing the ceiling and your ankles are also flexed. And here, you don't need to stay up in Sphinx pose. You can do this with the upper body lying down. But if you're comfortable, you just roll the heels of the feet or the feet themselves in circles, circling around the knees, getting a little roll across the fronts of the thighs. And when you're ready, you can go in the opposite direction as well. It's okay to do these in alternate directions. You don't need your both feet going in the same direction if you don't wish to. And then when you're ready, you can relax down with the upper body, but leave the feet where they are. And again, do maybe a little sway from side to side. Just as the upper body relaxes down, you get a little bit more movement through the pelvis when you're not propped up. And then if you wish to, making the ankle, the knees or the lower leg circle in opposite directions. So circling one and then the other, just as we did on our backs at the beginning of the class, going the opposite way when you're ready. And it's that action of rolling around on the quadricep muscles, that's particularly where they support the knee, that helps us to release tension that we hold there. When you're ready, coming back to the center, just relaxing your feet down, giving your hips an opportunity to wiggle from side to side. And then we're going to come back into our downward facing dog, through hands and knees, downward facing dog, and just ease out the backs of the legs a little bit. Maybe ease through the shoulders. Move anything that feels good in your down dog. And then when you're ready, you can walk your feet towards your hands, coming into a forward bend, feet relatively wide, so at least hip distance apart. And in your forward bend, draping your body towards the floor, scooping your belly in, softening the backs of your knees as much as you need to. Hold elbow to elbow, or allow the backs of the hands to reach the floor. And then keeping the hips still, maybe a gentle movement of the upper body from side to side. So that is completely optional. We want the back of the neck to be nice and relaxed. But just seeing if that feels good, if you feel a sense of traction across the low back and sense of space. If not, of course, hold just a standard forward bend. To come up, we're going to come to the center, bend the knees deeply as we look forward, and then reach the arms wide, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, press through the feet to come all the way up to standing, reach the arms over the head, palms together, and then bring the hands back down to the center of the chest. Give yourself a moment in your standing pose just to arrive. Settle the arms down, relax the shoulders. Take a few deeper breaths and observe the effect of your practice so far. Awesome sauce, guys. Okay, so I'm just going to put a block here at the side of my mat, which I may or may not need, but the other block can go away. And adjusting clothing is always a good opportunity to do that. So we're coming to do a little standing series that is, we've done lots of different standing series over the last 2 terms. So this is kind of like a marriage of various things that we have done. There are no brand new postures that I'm aware of. But we're going to take this first round relatively easy. So while we do it to both sides, and then we'll come and do it again. So it's mostly based around a little lunge and warrior one when we step the leg back, but we'll start at the front of the mat. So starting with the feet underneath the hips, standing nice and tall and rolling the palms of the hands forward. And as we do that, it encourages the shoulder blades just to draw together gently to open the chest. That's why we do it. So fingertips are heavy, crown of the head is lifted. We're taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out before we begin. Then breathing in, taking the arms around the body, firm belly and buttocks, maybe looking up gently. Breathing out, bringing the hands down to the center of the chest. Again, breathing in, taking the arms around the body. As we reach up, the shoulders lift. Breathe out, draw the shoulders down. Imagine you've got a giant beach ball. And then firm in the belly, we're going to breathe in as we lean over to the right side. Breathing out back to center. Breathing in over to the left. Breathing out back to center. And now twisting. Breathing in as you twist to the right. Let your arms come to about shoulder height. Breathing out, twist to center. Breathing in, twist to the left. Nice and soft through the knees. Breathing out, twist to center. Breathing in as you look up and breathe out as you bend both knees, as if you're going to sit into a chair pose. And here in chair pose, let your shoulders soften, active in the belly, let your breath find its natural rhythm, and just gently tilt your pelvis a little out, a little in, until you find what feels like the center for you. And then from here, we're going to fold all the way down into a forward bend. So letting the hands come down towards the feet and finding that forward bend, allowing the crown of the head to come towards the floor, the back of the neck to release. The knees can remain quite bent here. That's not a problem at all. I'm going to take a little deep breath in and out. And then we're going to lift the right heel and draw the right heel up towards the buttocks. So the knees are together, but we're standing now onto the left leg. Fingertips on the floor for support. You can, of course, use a block here if it is easier. And then we are going to lengthen the right leg up, standing split, allowing the crown of the head to be nice and heavy, and then drawing the right knee to the left knee and the right heel to the buttock, nice and firm in the belly. Let's do that 2 more times. Lengthen the right leg up, standing split, and then knees together, right heel to buttock. Lengthen the right leg up, standing split, knees together, right heel to buttock. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot back as far as it goes. Heel is off the floor, so we're on the ball of the right foot. Transfer the weight so we bend into the left knee, and then firming the belly, take the hands to the top of the left thigh, coming into an upright lunge. Everyone okay so far? Aces. Here we're going to lengthen the front leg, lifting the arms up, and then bend the front knee, press into the back heel. We don't take the heel to the floor, we're just pressing into that back heel. Lengthening both legs as we keep the arms lifted. Nice balance, use a point of focus, and then bend that left knee and press into the right heel. Come into as low a lunge as feels comfortable. One more time, lifting and lowering. From the lowered position, just take your right heel to the floor and you are in warrior one. Lovely job. So here we're in warrior one, we're going to do a similar sort of thing. We're going to lengthen the front leg. We're going to take the arms down as we do that, and then bend the front knee, lifting the arms up, really pressing into that heel, firming the belly and the buttocks. Check that you can see your big toe on your left side. Releasing the arms down as we lengthen the front leg. And then bending into the left knee, pressing into the right heel at the same time, the right outside edge of the foot for warrior one. One more time, lengthening, lowering the arms, and then coming into your warrior one pose. Very nice. And then from here, we're going to turn to that right-hand side of the mat. We're not really going to take warrior two. We're going to turn all the way into a wide leg pose, facing the right side of the mat. Open your chest as you stand tall, feet facing forwards or facing where your chest is facing, and then folding from your hips into a forward bend. You can use your block for support. You can reach towards the floor if it feels good. Soften the knees as much as you need to. And when you get into your forward bend, just allowing your weight to play across the toes more and the heels more. So just rocking yourself a little backwards and forwards. When you find a forward bend that feels good, you can maybe come a little bit deeper. And you might even like to soften one knee a little and then the other, if that feels good. We're going to do some, what are they called? Surface squats in a minute anyway. So don't overdo it. It's just to see if there's a little bit of space to find. Scooping the belly in, lifting your tailbone. And when you're ready, you can come back to a position where the torso is parallel to the floor. So a little bit higher up. It is a really good idea to use a block here. Most people, lots of people do have lovely long arms that would get them to there, but it's better to give yourself a little lift if you can. We're going to leave the right hand down on the block and then draw the left elbow up to the ceiling and then reach the left arm all the way up. And then release that arm all the way down. And we'll do one more twist like that. Left elbow up to the ceiling, left hand up to the ceiling, looking to the left, and then unwinding the spine. Let's do it on the right side as well. Right elbow up to the ceiling, right hand up to the ceiling, looking to the right, and unwind back to the center. Firm belly and buttocks, right elbow up, right hand up, turn to the right, and releasing all the way down. We're going to take the hands onto the hips. So soften your knees, hands onto hips, and just let your hips sway from side to side. Surface squat is what I mean. So taking your weight over your right foot as you bend your right knee, taking your weight over your left foot as you bend your left knee. Just gentle side to side. And the next time your weight is over your right foot, we're going to turn the feet to the right, take the hands to the mat, and step into downward facing dog. Give yourself a little wiggle in downward facing dog. And then taking your knees to the floor, we'll do a waving vinyasa. So with the knees down, we're taking the knees a little bit behind the place they would normally be for hands and knees. You can do this with your knees up if you wish to. Buttocks back towards the heels, rounding through the spine, forehead towards the floor. Press off the feet, round forwards. Sorry, round back, round through the spine as the hips come forwards. As the shoulders come over the hands, just gliding the shoulder blades towards each other to find a supportive up dog position. And then scooping the belly in and rounding back the way, hips towards heels. One more like that. Pressing off the feet, rounding through the spine, scooping the belly in, shoulder blades gliding down to open the chest. And then scooping the belly in to round back into our puppy dog position, crouching dog. Coming back to downward facing dog, which of course we would have ended in if we'd had the knees off the floor. And we're gently going to tiptoe the feet forwards to the hands, walking your feet in to find a nice forward bend. Take a couple of deep breaths. Relax the back of the neck. And then to come up, bend your knees deeply, sweep your hands forward, drop your bottom, press through the legs to stand all the way up, open the chest, and then bring the hands down to the center of the chest. Relax your arms to your side. We're standing facing the back of the mat, but if you wish to, you can get yourself back to the front of the mat. The reason why we're standing facing this way is because this time we're going to take the opposite leg back, so we'll still be operating on this long side of the mat when we come to using our blocks on that side. So take a moment, rearrange anything that needs rearranging. feet in the right alignment for Tadasana. We're going to spin the palms forward, drop the fingertips down, take a deep breath in and out here. Same thing to the opposite side. Breathing in, take the arms around the body, lifting the chest. Breathing out, draw the palms down to the center of the chest. Breathing in, take the arms around the body. And as you breathe out, just hands separated, shoulders gliding down. Side bend to the left first. Breathing in over to your left side. Breathing out as you return to center. Breathing out, leaning over to the right. Breathing in, return to center. Oh, I've done the breathing wrong, doesn't matter. Breathing in, twist to the left. Breathing out, return to center. Breathing in, twist to the right. Breathing out, return to center. Breathe in as you lift the front of the body and firm the belly, and breathe out as you find chair pose, just bending the knees. Give yourself a little bit of an opportunity to wriggle the hips so that you find center, and then on your next exhalation, fold all the way into a forward bend, keeping the knees bent as they were in chair pose. And you can even bring your feet together now if you would like to. Scoop your belly in. So we're going to take the weight onto the right foot and lift the left foot off the floor. So the knees are together and the left heel is towards the buttocks. And you can use blocks under the hands if you would like to. Relax the back of the neck. And then three of this, so I call this stork pose, but we're going to do 3 standing split to stork pose. So we're breathing in as we lengthen the left leg up, really letting the crown of the head be heavy, and then breathing out, knees together, heel to buttock. Breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, knees together, heel to buttock. One more time. Breathing in, lengthen the left leg. Breathing out, knees together, heel to buttock. And then from here, we're stepping the left foot back as far as it goes, pressing into the heel of that foot. So the heel is up, but we're pressing the heel away, and we're firming the belly and the buttocks to bring the hands to the top of the right thigh. So in an upright lunge, we're going to reach the arms up as we open the chest, and then we're going to lengthen the right leg as we breathe in, and breathe out as we bend the right knee, pressing into the left heel at the same time. So really good balance here, lengthening the right leg as we breathe in, breathing out, bending that right knee, pressing into the left heel. Left heel is off the floor at the moment. Breathing into a long legs position, breathing out as we bend that front knee. And then here we're letting the left heel find the floor. So we find ourselves in Warrior One pose. Left heel and outside edge finds the floor. This time as we breathe in, we're lengthening the arms down. Front knee is straight. We get an opportunity just to rest the shoulders for a moment. And then breathing out, in, I don't know. We're breathing, let your breath find its natural rhythm. We're bending that front right knee, pressing into the outside edge of the left foot, making sure you can still see the big toe of your front foot, and then coming back to this upright position with long straight legs. And the action here is to find that bend so that we press into the back heel and we don't really travel forward, we more sink between the 2 legs. One more time, straightening both legs, firm in belly and buttocks, and bending the front knee. And straightening both legs. And we're going to turn both feet to the left so that we end up facing the long side of our mat. And we can make sure that the feet are nice and straight. Take a nice wide open inhale and fold forward into our forward bend. And here in our forward bend, we're trying to fold into a slightly deeper forward bend to begin with. So if you don't need your block, that's fine. If you do, that's okay too. Just play with the weight. We don't want the weight all in the heels or all in the toes, but using your hands on the floor for support, just find that centered space between heels and toes, where the feet are really active, particularly on the insteps, drawing towards the center of the body. And then here, just taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We're going to take the hands onto support if needed, and making sure that we've got the hands centered. Lengthen the body out of the hips so that we are parallel to the floor with the torso. And then drawing the right elbow up and the right hand up as we look to the right, and releasing all the way down. Nice and centered, firm in the belly. Draw the right elbow up and then the right hand up, looking to the right, and release all the way down. Swap hands so we can do the same thing to the left. From center, left elbow up, left hand up, looking to the left, and release the arm all the way down. Drawing the left elbow up, left arm up, looking to the left, and releasing all the way down. And then here, we're going to take the hands onto the hips, maybe soft in the knees, do a little sway of the weight over the left foot and then the right foot. We're trying to imagine that we're staying underneath something. So limboing or under a table, whatever it might be. Arms can be reached wide if you'd like a little bit of an extra challenge here. Don't take that if you don't need it. The next time that your weight is over your left foot, we're going to turn the feet to the left, take the hands down to frame the front foot, and step back into downward facing dog. Give yourself a little opportunity in your down dog for a little wiggle, and then we'll do some waving vinyasas. Knees up or knees down, doesn't matter. Drop the bottom towards the heels, press off the feet to round through the spine. As the shoulders come over the hands, glide the shoulder blades down to open your chest, firm belly, firm buttocks, soft knees, soft ankles, soft elbows, sorry. And then rounding through the spine to come back to downward facing dog or hands and knees. One more time, dropping buttocks to heels, rounding through the spine as you press off the toes, opening your chest, and then gently rounding back through the spine to find downward facing dog again. And from downward dog, let's take wide knee child pose. Taking the hands forward, forehead to the floor, maybe turning the palms upwards, maybe turning the palms downwards, maybe taking a different version if it suits you better. Give yourself a few breaths here. And then whenever you're ready, coming into a comfortable upright position, just to ease anything that needs a little bit of easing, maybe rolling through the shoulders a couple of times. Very nice. So we have the opportunity to do this one more time to each side, but we're going to go through it a little bit more quickly, I guess, or aim to, and we will have slightly different sideways on versions. So we will do like a goddess pose, sideways on, as well as our forward bends. So when you're ready, you can come back onto your hands and knees, and we can take downward facing dog, walk our feet forward and come into our Tadasana pose. If you want to get there a different way, absolutely, you can do that too. So taking just a gentle downward dog, easing through the backs of the legs a little bit. When you're ready, tiptoeing your feet forwards to your hands to find your forward bend, relaxing into your forward bend, then bending your knees, sweeping your hands forward through chair pose to stand all the way tall and reach the arms out down to the side or palms together to the center of the chest, as you choose. Roll your shoulders a couple of times. And then take a deep breath in and out in Tadasana. Breathe in, take the arms around the body as you look up. Join the palms, breathe out, palms to the center of the chest. Breathe in, take the arms around the body again as you breathe out, shoulders down, big beach ball. Breathe in over to your right side, little side bend. Breathing out back to the center. Breathing in over to the left. Breathing out back to the center. Breathe in, twist to the right. Breathing out back to the center. Breathe in, twist to the left. And breathing out back to the center. Breathe in as you open your chest, looking up, scooping the belly in. Breathing out as you bend into your chair pose. This time, we are going to fold into our forward bend and just do one of our stork poses. So in your forward bend, knees together, lifting the right heel towards the buttock, making sure the crown of the head is towards the floor. We're going to breathe in as we lengthen the right leg. Breathe out as we draw the knees together, heel to buttock. And then breathe in as we step the right foot all the way back and press into the feet to breathe out into our upright lunge. Just one, breathing in to lengthen the front leg and breathing out to bend the front knee. Take your heel, right heel to the floor. Breathe in, lengthen both legs. Breathe out, come into warrior one. From warrior one, we're actually going to do a pyramid pose, forward bend. So we're going to lengthen the left leg and fold forward over our front leg. So reaching the hands away from you, pressing into the back heel, and from here, softening the hands towards the floor and turning to the long side of the mat. So we come into a wide leg forward bend from our pyramid forward bend. Super stuff. So here, instead of doing our twists, we're going to aim to do a forward bend where the crown of the head comes towards the mat. You can use your block. You can widen your feet if it feels comfortable to do that. And we're aiming to breathe in to lift the front of the body and then breathe out to fold into a forward bend, perhaps getting the crown of the head to the floor or to the top of a block. And perhaps the crown of the head doesn't come to anything, that's okay. Keep lifting from the center of the foot into the seat bones, the tailbone. And when you're ready, coming back up into your forward bend, but with the torso lifted. We're going to turn the heels in and come into goddess squat. So firm into the feet, coming into our goddess squat with our cactus arms, knees bent and facing out to the sides. Very good. We've done such a lot of work with the arms that this time we're going to reach the legs long and arms wide, wrap the right arm over the left arm, hug your shoulders. Now, if you want to, you can stay here. If you prefer, you can keep the upper arms together and join the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands. And then we'll take our goddess legs again, nice firm bend in the knees, taking the weight into the foot, across the foot. And we're going to do 3 circles of the arms in each direction. So circling once. I'm going to the left first, but you might go to the right, it's okay. 2 times. 3 times, nice firm legs, belly and buttocks, and then 3 times the other way. Very good. 1, 2, and 3. As you come up to center, reach the arms long, lengthen the legs as well. We're going to turn the feet to the right, turn the hips to the right, reach the arms up and then fold over that right leg to find our hands either side of the front foot. Step your right foot back to your left foot in downward facing dog. Take a couple of deep breaths here, maybe wiggle your dog from side to side. And we'll take a waving vinyasa, knees up or knees down, it doesn't matter. Dropping the buttocks towards the heels, press through the feet, round through the spine. As the shoulders come forward, glide the shoulders down to open the chest. Firm belly and buttocks, soft knees and elbows, and then rounding through your spine back to your center in down dog or crouching dog. And one more time, dropping buttocks to heels, scoop the belly in, round through the spine as you come forward. Glide the shoulder blades down to open the chest. And then scoop through the belly to round through the spine and come back to downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, we're walking the feet forward towards the hands to find a forward bend at the front of the mat, which is now the back of the mat, or was the back of the mat. And then in your forward bend, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Bend your knees deeply, sweep your hands forward, drop your bottom, press through that nice deep chair pose to an upright position, and then bring your hands to the center of your chest. In Tadasana, stand tall. Make any clothing adjustments as needed. Roll the shoulders or wiggle anything that needs wiggling. We'll take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Last time to the left side. Breathing in, take the arms around the body and up. Breathing out, draw the palms together to the center of the chest. A cleansing breath to start. And then breathing in, take the arms around the body and up. Breathing out, let your shoulders come down. Side bend to the left first. Breathing in, over to the left side. Breathing out, back to center. Breathing in, over to the right side. Breathing out, back to center. Twisting, breathing in, twisting to the left. Keep the knees a little soft. Breathing out, back to center. Breathing out, twisting to the right. Breathing in, sorry, twisting to the right. Breathing out, back to center. Breathe in, open your chest. And then bend into your chair pose. Just feel your way into chair, wriggle anything that needs wriggling, and then fold all the way into your forward bend and let your breath find its natural rhythm. With your knees still bent, bringing the left knee to the right knee and lifting the left heel, making sure the crown of your head is relaxing towards the floor. Nice firm belly and buttocks. Breathe in as you extend your left leg into standing splits. Breathing out, coming back to stork pose. We're going to breathe in, step that left foot back as far as it can go. Firm the belly and the buttocks and breathe out as you come into an upright lunge. Take one breath to breathe in, lengthen the right leg. Breathe out, bend the right knee. Firm the left heel to the floor. Breathe in, coming into long arms down by the side, long legs. Breathing out, warrior one. I'm going to breathe in as we lengthen the legs again and breathe out as we reach forward for pyramid pose, lengthening out of the base of the spine for as long as possible before the hands find the floor, turning the feet to the left so that we end up facing the long side of the mat for a deep forward bend. So begin by lifting your chest as you breathe in, breathing out as you fold into your forward bend. Maybe the crown of the head finds the floor, maybe it doesn't matter. Taking a deep breath in and out here. And then from here, we're going to lift back to a parallel to the floor position with our chests. So we're sort of halfway out of this pose. Turn your heels in and then draw yourself into your goddess squat. Here in our goddess squat, just lengthening arms and legs for a moment, opening the chest and then wrapping the left arm over the right arm to hold onto your shoulders. Taking a moment here, you might want to stay with this position or bring the backs of the hands or the forearms, backs of the hands, palms of the hands towards each other. Take your goddess stance again, really settling your weight evenly over your feet, bending the knees deeply. And then we'll go in 3 circles, each direction. Nice and firm across the belly and the buttocks. Keeping that bend in the knees as deep as feels comfortable. When you're ready, going in the opposite direction. Feel free to release out if it just becomes a little bit too much. That's okay, absolutely. One more time in this direction. As we come up, we're just going to lengthen the arms and legs again. Turn the feet towards the left. And then turning the hips towards the left as well. Open the front of the body. Fold over your pyramid legs. Hands to frame the left foot so you can step back into downward facing dog. And then just easing through your down dog. We're going to do one waving vinyasa and come back to down dog for a little bit of easing. So hips to heels, rounding through the spine, scooping the belly in, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other to open the chest, and then keeping firm through the belly, rounding through the spine back to downward facing dog. We're going to step the feet nice and far apart in down dog. Lift up onto the heels and drop the heels down to the left side first. Here, squatting dog, just nicely easing the knees to the floor and straightening the legs whilst keeping the shoulders square-ish. Maybe doing 2 or 3 nice, slow, stretchy, limbering releases, and then squaring the heels, taking the heels down to the left, and the same thing again. Nice bend of the knees, straightening of the legs, feeling that length all down the left side of the body as we keep the left hand really firm to the floor. When you're ready, coming back to the center. One little final down dog, wiggle anything that needs wiggling, perhaps turning your head, softening your knees, wiggling your hips. And when you're ready, taking child's pose or lying all the way flat on your belly. Let your breath find its natural rhythm. It might be deeper or faster than normal. If you wish to, you can slow it down, deepen the breath to bring you back into your homeostasis, your balance, a little bit more swiftly. Observe the effect of your practice. Observe the sensations in the body, your heart rate, the temperature of you, whether you're warm or not warm, or feel lengthened and strengthened. Whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself back into an upright position and just take a moment, particularly if your wrists are feeling it, just to release your wrists, or perhaps roll your shoulders or turn your head or your neck, whatever feels good in this moment. So I hope you've enjoyed that practice. It's very useful when we can do things a couple of times through, so it sort of really imprints what we've been doing. Very challenging on balance today, although it doesn't feel like it should be because you've got both feet down, but lots of that wide leg warrior one work is very challenging on balance. We're going to use our blocks for a little bit of release across the hips as we come towards relaxation. So have your relaxation things ready. I'm just going to make sure my blanket is to hand. And maybe have a gentle swig of juice, the sky juice in this case. And join me down on your back when you are ready. So as you come down, we're going to just allow the body to soften as it arrives on the floor, allowing the back of the body particularly to feel really heavy. We've done lots of what we've done today has been with the whole body, but we tend to forget how much effort we make in the back of the body. And it's only by lying onto it that we're able to let go of some of that effort. So really releasing in the back of the head and neck, back to the shoulders and arms. Perhaps here gently rolling the head from one side to the other, releasing tension from across the back of the neck. Feels so nice. If it feels good, you can keep a little bit of effort through your tummy muscles and just sway your hips a touch from side to side. We're going to release them with our blocks in just a minute as well. So when you're ready from this centered position, we're going to lift the hips really gently and place the block on its lowest setting underneath the hips. And we want that block to be directly behind the pelvis. So if you find the bony bits in the front of your pelvis, run your hands around the sides of the body. Your block should be right where you expect to find it, at the back of the pelvis. A little bit higher, a little bit lower might suit some folks, but just bear that in mind. You can always adjust it as we work. So to begin with, that's all we're doing. Hips up on the block, maybe the feet slightly further away from the buttocks than usual, opening the arms towards the ceiling, opening the chest, and just breathing gently. Again, we want that sensation of the body being heavy and really dropping towards the mat. You might be aware of the space that is now underneath the center of the back, particularly around about the bottom-ish bit of the ribs, the high waist. You can really breathe into that area with the body in this position. Now, for those who feel like they would be able to be just as restful with the block on its higher setting, you can draw your feet a little bit further in and then just turn the block so that it is supporting the back of the sacrum, so the bony bit at the back of the pelvis, and allow the arms to rest down again, maybe the feet to step gently away. If you come into this position and it just doesn't feel quite as comfortable as the previous position, then you can adjust back to there. If you would like to do a little bit more from here, then we're going to take the block and turn it so it's lengthways along the spine as opposed to sideways along the pelvis. So gently pressing into the heels and turning your block so it's lengthways along your spine. Doesn't matter if you've got a low setting or a medium setting. When the block is lengthways along the spine, we do want it quite low down, so it can support along the buttocks, but not up into the low back area, or at least not very far into that area. And then we're going to lengthen the left leg and just feel how that feels on the left side of the pelvis, making sure that it feels quite good. It doesn't feel like a strain. If you're on a higher setting, you can take the block down and just make sure that you feel supported, because we're trying to release. So without support, the body will not release. If that feels like a good place to be, you can bend your right knee into your chest so your left leg remains long, the heel on the floor, the right knee bends towards you. You can hold that with your right hand. You might need your left arm a little bit for support on this narrow bit of block. And then here we're simply pivoting if you wish to, or holding if you prefer. So if you're pivoting, you gently draw your knee towards your chest, which gently taps the left heel on the mat. As if the body was a bit like a seesaw. I've got my block ever so slightly off center. Just need to center it a bit better. No, I think I've done the opposite way. Hold on. Very good. Just a few of these gentle pivots. And then when you're ready, you can release the right foot all the way down to the floor and then draw the left knee back in. So you start from center again. And extend the right leg, long and straight, so you feel the openness across the right side of the pelvis. If that feels good, you can bend your left knee into your chest, catching hold of your left knee around the knee or perhaps the back of the knee. And you can either hold here or, drawing the left knee in and out, do a gentle pivot so you gently tap the right heel to the floor. When you're ready, you can let your left foot come down to the floor, slide your right foot in, and take a moment back in this more centered position. Deep breath in and out. From here, we're going to lift the hips, take the block down to its lowest setting and turn it back so it's sideways across the pelvis. And that should feel like a really nice release on its own if you've been on a higher setting. And then if you wish to, you can extend both legs long and straight. If that doesn't work, just keep the knees bent if it feels like it's not the right thing. If your legs are long and straight, just feeling the openness across the whole of the front of the pelvis, you might like to reach your arms out or even over the body so that they're either side of the head. Wherever your arms are, the elbows, shoulders, and wrists need to be on the floor. So if that means that you bring your arms a little wider, then that might help your shoulders to soften there. Here, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes for a few deep breaths. Soften the features of your face. Soften the back of your neck and your shoulders. Soften your toes and the soles of your feet. Maybe even give them a little wiggle. Whenever you feel ready, you can draw your arms back towards your sides. Have a little touch of effort across your belly to turn your toes upwards and slide your feet in one at a time. If you are not going to do legs up the wall for relaxation, you can here bend your knees into your chest so your hips are still elevated on the block, and extend your legs up towards the ceiling. And everyone can do this freestanding as well if you would like. So if you're not doing legs up the wall, this is great. You just circle the ankles a few times. You can use your hands for support on your thighs. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. You can maybe flap the ankles or wiggle the toes, whatever feels good. Maybe even turning the whole, waving the soles of the feet so you turn the whole leg in the hip sockets. That feels good too. And then bending the knees in, taking the feet down. We're going to lift the hips off the blocks and just allow the hips to come all the way down to the floor. And then holding this neutral position, allowing that sensation of warmth to spread from the back of the body. Perhaps it's a bit like rubbing tiger balm onto your body, I think, coming off a block like this. So you get that warm sensation and some coolness as well coming in there, and you can gently sway your knees a little from side to side. You don't have to go very far. We're not trying to do any more postures. We're just trying to find a bit of ease before we come to do relaxation. And then if you are doing legs up the wall, perhaps rolling to one side so you can find your way to the wall. And if you're taking Shavasana, just extending the legs. You might like to take a bolster today, would be a really good thing to do, legs up on something or some cushions, perhaps for support. I'm just going to bring the bits and pieces that I need over here. So taking your time getting into the posture of your choice, making sure that you're warm enough. And if you're doing legs up the wall, remember the object is not to necessarily get yourself as close to the wall as you can. It's to find a position that feels good to hold, because the purpose of relaxation is to hold stillness so that the body can lose its tone and soften its effort and really feel rested at the end of relaxation. Allow your arms to either be resting away from your body with the palms turned upwards, or with the arms bent at the elbows, rest the hands onto your abdomen. Take a moment to arrive in the posture that you're in. And then taking a deep breath in, sigh out through your mouth. And repeating 3 more times, a long deep breath in. Let all of your effort go. A long deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. Long deep breath in and surrender back and down into your support. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and closing your eyes if you haven't already done so. Maybe gently turn your head from side to side. When you're ready to bring your head back to center, softening your forehead, the area around your eyes, your tongue, your jaw, your shoulders. Take your awareness into the back of the body. Allow the whole of the back of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Become aware of the space over you and around you. Feel the touch of air on your face. Feel the movement of your clothes on your skin as you breathe. Feel the weight and the warmth of your extra layers or your blanket. Feel the sensations in the palms of the hands. Draw your awareness to your breath. Observe the deep, slow, natural breath. This is the breath that comes from doing our yoga practice. Slower, softer, and deeper than when we came to the mat. Observe any natural pauses or moments of stillness in your breath. Without trying to hold your breath. Simply rest your awareness in those moments of quiet stillness. Allow that sensation of peacefulness to pervade your whole body and mind. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing your awareness back into your hands and your feet, wriggling your fingers and toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles. If your legs have been up, bending your knees into your chest. Making any movements that feel good. So it could be stretching your whole body long and straight. Stretching one side of the body and then the other, maybe stretching the face and then perhaps gathering your knees in, making any movements that feel good, a little rocking and rolling or turning of your head one side, taking your knees the other, whatever feels right to you at this moment. When you feel ready, you can roll to one side. You can come straight up to sitting if you prefer. Just keep your eyes gently closed. We're trying to contain that sense of peacefulness, that stillness. When you're ready, coming to any comfortable upright position, keeping your eyes gently closed if you feel able to. Coming to your seated pose, placing the hands either over the heart or together in front of the heart. Take this moment just to carve out a moment of gratitude for taking the time to come to the mat, moving your body, revitalizing your energy, finding inner strength, inner calm, balance, and the tranquility that we are afforded in our relaxation as well. With these things in mind, just taking your chin towards your chest, giving yourself a gentle smile. Remember, you can call on these tools of balance, calm, and strength throughout your week. When you're ready, you can raise your head and open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining in this practice with me today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you for another one soon. Namaste.